I can speak up. I think that's about as loud as I.
Yeah. When you laugh, it'll be a lot louder.
Sir, can you tell us your name on camera?
My name is Don Monteith.
Don? Donald Monty.
Right.
Okay. Can I ask how old you are?
Pardon?
May I ask how old you are?
I'm 81.
81.
I'm getting older every year.
And how is it to be here? How is it to be here?
It's nice to see the people and remember the days when we liberated them. And how friendly they are and how friendly they still are. When I went overseas, I was 18 years old, I believe. I joined up when I was 16, and my father took me out. Well, he was a veteran of the First World War, and being a veteran, he knew what a war was like. He just told me that when he took me out of the army that it wasn't a good place for me to go, and I should think about it. Because when you're young, you don't think about nothing. You're just going over there and be gung-ho. That's what you think before you leave Canada. But after a while, after the first bombing raid in England, you start saying, hey, this ain't quite so smooth. So anyhow, I went to another military district and joined up again about 6 months later. And this time he says, "You're in for good, son." I said, "Okay, Dad." Stuff we had.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
That's what you used?
Yeah, right. This is a Chorus Signals vehicle. Our big blue and white on the square in the front.
Yeah.
This warrant officer said to me, he said, "How would you like to go to the Chorus Signals?" I said, "I don't care as long as I'm in the Army." He says, "Okay." I worked at regimental headquarters, which was the New Westminster Regiment from British Columbia, which I was attached to. And this regiment, I was in communications with brigade headquarters to find out where we would advance, map references, etc., and give it to the colonel. And then he would pass it on to majors and different company commanders and so on. And that's when the fighting go on. I was a sergeant once, but I was only a sergeant for 9 days.
How did that happen?
Because I took a vacation. The boys and I all went for a little drink up, and then I had to protect some of them because it was my fault I didn't get back, sir. We're all celebrating my promotion. And he says, "Well, what about the demotion? You celebrate that too?" During the war, like you join up, you get $1.30 a day. A corporal amounted to 20 cents a day more. A sergeant was 50 cents a day more. So I was getting $2 a day. Big time, eh?
Yeah.
To fight a war, put your life on the line. $2 a day.
Yeah,
And you save money out of it too, believe it or not. I used to send $1 a day home.
I was 9 or 10 years old, and I remember it. I was in church with my parents, and suddenly the door of the church opened, and somebody said, "War is over. The Canadians are there." And we were very glad. Then you gave us chewing gum, and I got chocolate.
Yes.
I never saw it before, because I was 4 years old when war began. Perhaps one of you was there to give it to me. I don't know, it's so long ago. we were very happy, and you see I am always emotional about it.
That's good.
So, gentlemen, thank you very much for what you did for us. Thank you. I wish you a very good time.
First time I went over to the VE Day parade, it was just unbelievable. Like the parade we were in, it was mostly vehicles, people were mostly got on trucks or cars or jeeps or whatever. But before that, everybody were parading as much as they could with their regiments. And everybody that was still mobile. I marched through the whole parade. And I shook so many hands, my hands were absolutely sore. I mean, they were sore. Towards the end, they see that you're fatigued a bit. They start giving you beers with it. So you're drinking beer in one hand and shaking hands with the other. So it was pretty good. Basically showing our strength and our gratitude to them for being such a good host, and they've been a good host ever since. You seen how happy they were 60 years later? Well, that's the way they were from day one. And they've gone through a generation of people since then. And they teach their kids all about the war and how the Canadians liberated their country. They take their kids and this one, this fellow did this, and that fellow did that, you know. And the children have to shake the hand too, because they're the ones that you're really trying to be friendly with. That's why they love Canadians. I mean, we're just like a brother and sister to them.
Do you think you're more remembered here than in Canada?
Oh, more so here than any place in the world. The Dutch are fabulous people for that. Of course, I mean, our Canadian people were never in a position that the Dutch people were in. And they don't really understand what happens in a war or the suffering that goes on with the war. And the Dutch people do, and they're appreciative that the Canadians came and liberated them. Remarkable, you know, how one country could be so devoted to another. It's hard to explain just the little feelings you get. Am I getting a second interview of Ryan?
The post-interview.
Post-interview. Well, that's good.
Yeah. We'll do that one later.
Okay. Nice what you make it. And you can take the sad part and the good part and bad parts and all the other parts. It's if you go overseas to fight a war and you're lucky enough to come home and you're not hurt, you've got it made. You never know these days what might happen.
You never know, do you? That's great. That's great. Nice to see you.
The world's a funny place, and we're a bunch of funny people in it. You know.